At the family dinner, I settled into the head of the table, my right arm trapped in a heavy plaster cast. The fork beside my plate sat useless, a silent reminder that tonight, I was at the mercy of circumstances and people I could no longer control. The air smelled of roasted duck with apples, rich and fatty, clinging to every corner of the dining room. For everyone else, it was the smell of warmth and celebration. For me, it was a sharp reminder of helplessness. 40 years ago, my husband and I had bought this bone-white china with delicate gold trim in a small New York City shop, a symbol of elegance, of family tradition. Today, each empty plate mocked me, reflecting years of silent endurance. Marcus, my son-in-law, had taken my husband's chair as if it were his birthright. His face glistened with heat and alcohol, and he carved into the duck with almost violent force. Around him, his colleagues and a woman from his department sat frozen, pale and uncomfortable. They feared him, yes, but they feared even more what might happen if they spoke up, if they made even a small mistake. "Marcus," whispered Sam, a thin, nervous man with glasses, "maybe we should—" "Stay out of it, Sam," Marcus barked, his words cutting like a knife. He poured himself another shot of vodka and smirked at me, arrogance shining in his eyes. "Therapeutic fasting is good for clearing the mind, right, Mama?" He gestured to my plate with a mockingly gentle nod, as if my inability to eat were part of the entertainment. Sierra, my daughter, sat next to him, slicing cucumbers with meticulous precision. She avoided looking at me, her movements precise, almost robotic. "Mama, please just sign the papers," she whispered. Her voice was barely audible, a mixture of fear and desperation. Her worry wasn't for me, it was for herself. Trapped under the shadow of her husband's dominance, I gritted my teeth, swallowing the gnawing hunger, the pain in my arm, and the sharp memory of the snap that had fractured my distal radius. Each tick of the grandfather clock in the corner echoed Marcus's arrogance. Counting down the moments of his fleeting authority, he lifted his glass, eyes gleaming. "Discipline. Order. One who pays the bills decides. The rest? Sit quietly," he declared, stabbing a pickled mushroom with theatrical violence. Inside me, a calm rose, cold and familiar from decades in the operating room. Emotions were noise. Precision and steadiness were everything. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I had learned long ago that pain was a tool, to be measured, controlled, and transformed into strength. 7:59 p.m. The second hand neared the top. I spoke, calm but precise. "Marcus, you have exactly 1 minute left to enjoy that chair." Red crept across his face. "Threatening me? With your cast?" He sneered, disbelief lacing his tone, but I said nothing. I just watched. The countdown ended. My arm flared with pain, a sharp echo of the fracture, but I stayed composed. Marcus began pacing, voice rising as he shouted about debts, dangerous people, and conspiracies I had no part in. I rose slowly, each movement deliberate, heading for the cabinet where my emergency medical bag lay. Painkillers, a syringe, a flip phone, old tools, but enough. I dialed a number memorized decades ago, a number that connected me to authority far beyond this room. The voice that answered was measured, commanding. "Alice," I whispered. Then the doorbell rang, long and insistent. Marcus rushed to open it, expecting a petty accomplice. Instead, the heavy, measured thuds of boots announced true power. "Governor Sterling," Marcus stammered, voice high and weak. The governor entered, flanked by silent figures in tactical gear. His presence filled the room without a word. He carried a modest bouquet of wild blue irises, as if kindness and authority could coexist. Marcus's bravado evaporated. The governor ignored Marcus completely, moving directly to me. He knelt beside my chair, placing a hand over mine. "Dr. Ashworth," he said softly, "you told me you fell, but you didn't tell me you were starving." He rose and took the head chair, a silent claim of authority. Marcus stumbled back, humiliated, the room holding its breath. The guests sat frozen, unsure where to look, unwilling to challenge the power now palpable in the room. I gripped the armrest with my left hand steady. The governor's gaze met mine, understanding and powerful. Marcus shrank under that gaze, powerless. The hierarchy had shifted, quietly but irrevocably. The dinner continued, my plate untouched. The guests dared not challenge the unspoken order. Sierra exhaled, relief flashing in her eyes, Though she remained cautious, hesitant as I sat, I thought back on decades of life in the operating room. Lives balanced on precision and patience, moments where the smallest error meant disaster. Marcus's threats, his drunken dominance, his arrogance, they were all noise. True power lay in patience, knowledge, and allies in unexpected places. Memories surfaced, small flashes from past family gatherings. A dinner where my husband had silently handled a conflict with diplomacy. A birthday party where I had silently ensured every detail was perfect. Moments where control was quietly asserted without raising a hand or voice. All of it led to this. By the end of the evening, Marcus had lost every shred of assumed control. His pride, his drunken dominance, his hollow claims of authority, they were gone. The governor's presence reminded everyone that power is recognized not through fear alone, but through competence, respect, and presence. I finally ate. The taste of food secondary to the triumph of survival and strategy. Marcus learned that cruelty can be answered not with brute force, but with patience, preparation, and the arrival of those who truly command respect. Sierra whispered, almost to herself, "Mama, you always know." I smiled, lifting my left hand in silent triumph. My arm throbbed, yes, but I had regained something far stronger. Control, dignity, and the quiet reminder that real authority never rests in the hands of those who wield fear. The night ended not with shouts or fights, but with understanding. And in the quiet of the house, the clock ticked on. Steady, reliable, eternal. If you walked beside me through this darkness, don't let go now. Subscribe. The next shadow already knows your name.